back to the channel. We about to go do a little reaction to AnimeUproar again. It's another One Piece thing. It's called AnimeUproar. Every Paramecia, I think. Part one of this video. This is a part two. I'm gonna do it. Every devil fruit of that category. So we're just about to watch it. Remember to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my homie's channel, subscribe to AnimeUproar because he makes a great, amazing content and stuff. And let's just get into it. Oh my god.
And goes in here for AnimeUproar, and I'm here with one of the most daunting projects I've ever undertaken. I said that if you guys showed enough interest and we got enough likes on the All Zone Users video, that I'd make this one, and the feedback was amazing. We already got over 400,000 views on that video and over 8,000 likes. Okay. I was resisting making this video because there are so many Paramecia fruits, but I decided to just bite the bullet because you guys earned it. I will, however, split it up in parts, since there are so many to cover. If you want to see the next part, part 2, make sure to smash that like button to let me know and share this video with a friend. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss out on new One Piece videos when they drop. I'll bring them up again at the end of the video, but I want to give a quick thank you to our glorious patrons over on Patreon who help us survive YouTube issues and make videos like this one possible. Keep in mind there will be manga spoilers in this video. In this series, I will be covering all canon. Let's jump into it. Paramecia fruits can best be described by what they are not. They are not Logia fruits that allow their users to transform into natural elements, and they are not zone fruits that allow their users to transform into animals. I'm obviously oversimplifying here, and you can check out my video on Logia fruits and zone fruits to learn more about them, but that's the gist of it. If a fruit doesn't fit into those two categories, then it's gonna be a Paramecia fruit. As with the other devil fruits, the user loses the ability to swim. The best way to get a sense of them is to just jump into specific examples, so let's do that. Keep in mind, I won't be going into these fruits in a lot of detail because there are so many. If you want to see one explored further, let me know in the comments and I can make a dedicated video on it. Let's start with Luffy and his Gomu Gomu no Mi, aka Gum Gum fruit. This fruit turns the user into a rubber human. Their body becomes like rubber, letting them stretch. This fruit lets Luffy send back bullets, cannonballs, and even makes him resistant to blunt attacks. Because rubber is a natural insulator, Luffy is immune to electric attacks and can even land attacks on Enel, the Rumble Rumble fruit user, without Haki because of the electric nature of the latter's powers. We know that Luffy can also use his powers to bounce and inflate his body parts. Luffy can use his Devil Fruit power to enter into his unique forms called gears. We won't get into them too much here, but there's second gear which speeds up his blood flow and turns his skin pink. There's third gear where he blows into his rubber bones which drastically increases the mass and strength of the affected limbs. And there's fourth gear which combines blowing air into his body and Haki. This last form focuses on making the upper body specifically more muscular and powerful.
I ain't even gonna cap. When I saw this one when he was fighting Doflamingo, bro, I was like, what is this man doing? This man look goofy. And then when I saw him with the form looked hard to me, but I was like, this look for low-key goofy. This junk ain't even probably about to be that powerful. That man knocked Doffy out. That man was knocked out. Oh my god.
It pretty much lets him use the speed associated with his second gear and the strength associated with his third gear. We'll leave it at that for the purpose of this video, but you can let me know if you want a whole video dedicated to Luffy's gears in the comments below. Next we have Buggy and his Bara Bara no Mi, aka Chop Chop fruit. This fruit turns the user into a splitting human. A splitting human is immune from cuts. It's like the opposite of Luffy. If anyone tries to cut Buggy, his body parts will be sliced, but he'll still be alive and he'll still be able to control his separate body parts. He can even split his body parts up himself if he isn't cut. This ability lets parts of Buggy's body levitate, breaking the rules of gravity. He can even lift heavy people and carry them in the air like Jinbei. There are limitations though. His feet do not fly, and his separated body parts cannot function if they don't remain within the effective area. His split up body parts can still feel pain, which can be a real problem, as illustrated when Luffy kicked the clown in the groin. Next we have Iron Mace Alvida and the Sube Sube no Mi, aka Slip Slip or Smooth Smooth fruit. As the name suggests, the fruit makes the user's skin smooth and slippery. As a result, most attacks will slide off the user's body. Interestingly enough, if the user has any excess fat, it will slip off, as we saw with Alvida, and they'll become thin. And the best thing about the power is that the user can take their shoes off and slide around as if they were skating. Next we have Mr. 5 and his Bomu Bomu no Mi, aka Bomb Bomb Fruit. The fruit makes the user a bomb human and lets them make any part of their body, including mucus or hair, explode. The user experiences no harm from the explosions. In conclusion, picking your nose has never been so deadly. Next, we have Miss Valentine and her Kilo Kilo no Mi, aka Kilo Kilo Fruit. This is a very interesting power. The size of the user's body remains the same, but they can change the weight of it from 1 to 10,000 kilograms. So they can choose to be light enough to float in the wind with an umbrella or heavy enough to crush an opponent. The user appears to be able to move normally despite the change in weight. You gotta admit, Miss Valentine looks good for a woman who sometimes weighs 22,046 pounds. Next up, we have our precious Nico Robin and her Hana Hana no Mi, aka Flower Fruit. This fruit lets Robin sprout extra body parts from any nearby surface. After the time skip, she can sprout up to 1,000 body parts at once, and she can even produce a full body clone of herself. She can sprout just eyes or ears, which makes this power great for espionage purposes. Like Buggy, there's an effective range, and if the separate limbs are hurt, Robin is hurt too. Following Robin and her sexy body parts, we have Mr. 3 and his Doru Doru, aka Wax Wax Fruit.
Cool.
He is pretty much a candle human. This ability lets him create and control a lot of wax, and it even produces a flame on top of his head, as if he were really a candle. Unlike a Logia user, Mr. 3 cannot turn his whole body into wax. The wax can be molded as the user wishes. The wax will solidify and become as strong as steel. Obviously, because it's wax, this power does not play well with fire. After the candle human, we got Tin Plate Wapol, the former monarch of the Drum Kingdom. He possesses the Baku Baku no Mi, aka the Munch Munch Fruit. This fruit lets its user become an eating machine. The Munch Munch Fruit user can open their mouth extremely wide and eat things that would not normally be possible for humans to eat, even toxic things. This dude is an actual sword eater, no magic trick involved, and he can even eat cannons and houses. He can also manifest the things he eats in creative ways. For instance, he can even turn his body into a fortress that shoots cannons. Although he's often used for comedic effect, Wapol's abilities are definitely powerful. The only problem is he constantly has the munchies. After the ultimate eater, we have Bentham of the Wild, aka Mr. 2 Bonkure, and his Mane Mane, aka Clone Clone Fruit. Even though they started out as enemies, Bentham and Luffy have since become friends. Not only that, Bentham has proven to be an insanely good friend. He sacrificed himself repeatedly for Luffy, including at Impel Down, which was touching AF. The user of the Clone Clone Fruit can perfectly copy someone's face and body after they touch that person's face with their right hand. The user's clothes don't change though, so that could give them away. This ability is great if you want to trick people into thinking you are someone else, but it is not very useful in a one-on-one fight. Before Bentham, Kurozumi Higurashi, a major supporter of Orochi, possessed the Devil Fruit power. We just talked about Mr. 2, so let's turn to Mr. 1 next, aka the killer Das Bones. This guy was considered to be the strongest fighter of Baroque works aside from Crocodile himself. Mr. 1 ate the Supa Supa no Mi, aka the Dice Dice Fruit.
I like this
He's
character.
known as a full-bodied bladed human. This fruit
fruit.
allows the user to create strong blades from any part of their body. As
After
Mr.
we
1
got to
points
see him
out,
after
normal
that
slashing
stuff,
and
but I really
hacking
wanted to
have
see
no
Wayne.
effect on him, but attacks that can cut through steel can cut through him. For all of these reasons, he was a great person to match up against our Zoro. After the sword human, we have Poison Spider Zala, aka Miss Doublefinger, and her Toge Toge no Mi, aka Spike Spike Fruit. As the name of the fruit suggests, its user can produce spikes from their body. These spikes can be long and sharp and are strong enough to break through rock walls. There is even a move called Spikecupuncture, aka Spike Spike Doping, that greatly increases the power of her arms, allowing her to punch through stone with no problem. She can also become a giant rolling ball of spikes, like a deadlier Sonic the Hedgehog. Another fun thing that Miss Doublefinger can do is walk on the ceiling by producing spikes on the bottom of her feet. All in all, it's definitely an awesome power. After Spiky Girl, we have Black Cage Hina, the Marine officer and the possessor of the Ori Ori no Mi, aka Cage Fruit.
Bro,
Everything that passes through Hina's body becomes bound by a strong metal-like material. Alternatively, she can produce a giant moving cage, and if anyone touches that, they'll get entangled and bound too. It's a great power for capturing people alive. Next, we have Bellamy the Hyena, the former captain of the Bellamy Pirates and Don Quixote underling. He possesses the Bane Bane no Mi, aka the Spring Fruit, which lets him turn his limbs into springs. For instance, he can turn his legs into springs in order to dramatically increase the speed, reach, and strength of his attacks. The surface that Bellamy uses to jump off of can suffer extreme damage. He's like the human version of the Slinky Spring toys we used to play with as kids, but of course, he's a bit deadlier. After the Slinky Spring Man, we have the very cool Don Quixote do Flamengo, the former captain of the Don Quixote.
Say what you like about Doflamingo. This man was actually hard. I'm saying he was hard. His devil fruit, the way his energy was just unmatched. Like this man was hard.
And his Ito Ito no Mi, aka String Fruit. This fruit is one of the most versatile and could definitely have its own dedicated video, but let's mention some highlights. The user can produce strings from their body that can attach to people, surfaces, or even clouds. The strings can be used to control people as if they were puppets, and they can potentially cut through them. Doflamingo's strings are strong and sharp enough to cut through bone. Doflamingo can even use the strings to perform internal surgery on himself, and he can use clouds to move through the air. He's like a deadlier and more fashion-conscious Spider-Man. He can even produce a giant barrier around an island using his razor-sharp strings. The barrier can be made to close in on itself and slice everything in its way. This move can completely destroy an entire island. The strings are even trickier because they are so thin, they're often difficult to see with the human eye. One drawback to this otherwise very OP power is that Doflamingo has to remain conscious or his strings will disappear. Next, let's look at Foxy, captain of the Foxy Pirates, and his Noro no Mi, aka Soul Fruit. This is a very fun power. He can release Noroma photons that will slow down any object or person they touch for 30 seconds. These Noroma photons are released in the form of light beams so they can be reflected by mirrors. If an opponent takes hits while they're affected by the beam, the hits will pile up, and when the 30 seconds are up, they'll take the damage and the kinetic force of all the blows at once. A drawback is that the user can also be affected by their own beams, so the power can potentially be used against them. Next up, we have Bluno, an assassin of CP9, and his Doa Doa no Mi, aka Door Fruit. This fruit lets the user create doors on solid surfaces so that they can pass through them. It doesn't matter how thick or strong the surface is. Other people can pass through these doors as well. He can create doors under a person's feet to trap them. The user can also create a door in the air that leads to a kind of alternate dimension. He can move within this alternate dimension undetected and seemingly teleport across vast distances. Lastly, he can turn his opponent into a door temporarily to keep them from moving. This guy would definitely make the best personal doorman ever. Next we have Khalifa, the only female member of CP9, and her Awa Awa no Mi, aka Bubble Fruit. She's a soap person who can create bubbles anywhere on her body. Furthermore, she has total control of the bubbles produced by her body. The bubbles can not only wipe dirt away, but even someone's power. Khalifa can make everything she touches extremely smooth. She can even leave people in a shiny smooth state that is difficult to fight in. She can use her bubbles to create a bar of soap around her in order to protect herself from enemy attacks. Overall, it's a very useful power, but its drawback is that something as common as water is its weakness. Water will wash away the bubbles and return her smoothened victims back to normal. Like Nami, I also wouldn't mind having Khalifa as my personal secretary. Next we have Captain Very Good, one of the Marines who attacked the Straw Hats during the Enies Lobby Buster Call. The dude has an afro, an X-shaped scar, and a Marine tattoo across his chin. Talk about distinctive features. He ate the berry no mi, aka the berry fruit, and became a grape human. In a sense, this devil fruit is like the opposite of Buggy's devil fruit. Although both allow the user to separate their body parts, Buggy is immune to slashes, while Captain Very Good seems to be immune to blunt attacks. His body parts turn into many balls, all of which can float in the air and can be used to attack the enemy. Another captain who showed up for the Buster Call was Captain Shu. He ate the Sabi no Mi, aka the Rust fruit. Captain Shu can turn swords to rust, making them useless against him. In the anime, he even starts turning Zoro into rust. But Zoro quickly goes back to normal after Captain Shu is no longer touching him. Thus, in theory, given enough time, Captain Shu might be able to rust anything, except Sea Stone, of course. Captain Sharinguru was another captain who helped with the Buster Call. You can recognize him by his goggles. He ate the Shari no Mi, aka the wheel
They were very
fruit.
forgettable,
It appears he
but
can
had
turn
cool
different
abilities.
body parts into wheels to increase his attack power, but the attacks do not seem to be very effective against Frankie's metallic body parts. Interestingly enough, this devil fruit power was not shown in the anime, and the captain attacked Frankie with a sword instead. And that covers part 1 of all Paramecia users and their powers explained. If you want to see part 2, make sure to smash that like button, and I will...
Hey, you see me? You see me? You see me? Like, subscribe. I should have did this a long time ago. Oh, cause I'm like that. Anyway, let's get. That's the end of the video. Subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to my homie's YouTube. Subscribe to what's his name? AnimeUproar. Subscribe to the subscribe to his YouTube channel again. I'll have the original video down in the link, but that was a great video, bro. I really enjoyed that. So that's the end of the video. I'm gonna do another video probably, and that's probably gonna be it, cuz